Hello friends and welcome to another video lesson from DBOS Talks. If you haven't subscribed yet, please click subscribe and click the bell so that you can be notified of new uploads. This video is part of the playlist called Excel tutorial, and here we'll be learning how to remove blank rows in an Excel file. So as you know, from time to time you will encounter Excel files or Excel spreadsheets wherein there are empty rows of data, and it happens after. Normally at the start the file is not empty, there are no empty rows, but after a while, after having changed the data, deleting rows here and there, then you could encounter such situations. So sometimes you wanted to just if it is a small file consisting of a few rows, then that's no problem. But if it is a file consisting of hundreds, if not thousands of rows, then it will become such a big task, a big headache to look for the empty rows, just to delete them one by one. So very quickly, we'll be going through a few steps, a few approaches on how to deal with this situation. We will be starting with the most basic way of deleting empty rows, okay? So which is deleting one row at a time. So as you know, in Excel, you can highlight the whole row by clicking on the row number. Example, if we are interested in row number 3, you don't click here because you'll be clicking on the cell. What you'll do is you'll click on the row number. If it's row number 3, click on the number 3, and it highlights the whole row, right? So the first way I'm going to show you is the most basic one, which is probably very familiar to most of us. So when you'll be deleting empty rows one at a time, which is very crude, very basic, but it's good to know the basics. So you will click on the row number, example of 3, and then you will proceed to delete this. And there are two ways of deleting a row in Excel. If you're not familiar, there could be more ways, but there are at least two basic ways. First is to select that row that you wanted to delete. And so, like I said, you will click on the row number. Next is you will right-click on that row, anywhere within the row, right-click, and then you can click on delete in the context menu. Okay, I will undo that. The other way of deleting a row is, again, you select the row by clicking on the row number, and then you can do a combination key or a combination of pressing keys. So Alt-E, this one, Alt-E, and then you type D for delete. So it does the same thing, okay? Yeah, so this is the first way of deleting empty rows, which is deleting them one by one. So again, you will select the empty row, do a visual check, select the empty row by clicking on the row number, and then you can either right-click that row and then delete, or again, this row empty here, select that row by clicking on the row number, and then you can do also another way is Alt-E, and then while Alt is pressed, you press E. And then once you see this pop up at the top near the ribbon, then you press on letter D, D for Delta. Okay, so this is the first way of dealing or handling empty rows in Excel, which is quite crude, quite basic, but it's good to know the basics. So we are deleting the rows one by one. This is only good if you only have a few empty rows, which can be identified very easily visually. But if it is a very big file consisting of so many rows, then this is not the practical way of doing it. So let's move on to the next way of doing it. Not so sophisticated, also not so crude. So in this second way of deleting empty rows in Excel, we will be doing a multiple select of rows. As you know, in Excel, doing a multiple select is accomplished by pressing the Control key. Control key. Okay, so again, if you wanted to select a row, you click on the row number. But if you wanted to select multiple rows, in this case, we are zooming in on the empty Excel rows, then we will do a Control. While Control is pressed, I'm pressing it now, and then I will again click on another empty row. by clicking on its row number. And then I can let go. If you're getting tired of it, you can let go of the control for a moment. But if you wanted to continue, again, you press down your control key, and then you click on the row number of the next empty row that you're interested in. So in this case, row 11. So I see 3 empty rows. And then after that, again, like I mentioned in the first example, there are at least two ways of deleting a row. After selecting the row by clicking on the row number, you can either do a right click and then delete, or you can do an Alt-E-D. So since I've already selected all 3 empty rows, I can proceed. I'll just do a right click on any of them and delete. Okay, so it deletes all 3 of them. It's a multiple select of rows, a bit better, a bit faster than what we did in the first example, which is a one-by-one deletion of the empty rows. Okay, so that's method number 2. Method number 3, I've just duplicated the data, the rows of data, just for illustration, so you can do a quick comparison between the examples, between the methods of doing it. So the third is, again, we're looking at some empty rows here, and again, if this was just a small file, then it's fine. But if you have hundreds, if not thousands of rows, identifying and looking for those empty rows and trying to delete them will be such a huge task. Okay, so to remove empty rows, of these 3 ways, this is the best, this is the quickest way, most practical. Okay, so you go to the editing tab this is called the ribbon, the area underneath the menu, sometimes called tabs in Excel. In your home tab, you go to the right, you will see under editing. Okay, in the ribbon, this area is called ribbon. You click on find and select. Okay, again, home tab, under editing, you click on find and select. Once here, you can click on go to special. When you see this pop up, you can click on blanks. It's a radio button. And then click on OK. Okay. And then under cells, again in the ribbon area, under cells, you click on delete. And then you can click on delete sheet rows. Wait. Let me just do it again. Let me just remove this. Okay, let's do it again. So the first is, no, I did it wrong. The first is you select your data set. So you can do a selection of your data set by highlighting it like this. Anyway, you can, okay? So let's say, hiding it like this, and then in the home tab, in editing, you go to find and select, and then click on go to special, blanks, and then OK. Under cells, in the cells ribbon, click on delete, and then delete sheet rows. Okay, so that does the trick. So the step that I missed there is to select your data set first. Okay, so you can to select the data set, you can either highlight it with your mouse like this, or you can, if it is a long list of rows, you can highlight, you drag your mouse on the column headers, and it will also do the thing. Okay, so we have looked at 3 ways of deleting empty rows in an Excel file. The first one is a crude way, a basic way of just deleting one empty row at a time. And the second way we saw was doing a multiple selection of empty rows by using the control key to do a multiple selection of rows. Again, remember that to select a row, you click on the row number. And finally, in the method 3, we did something a little bit more sophisticated compared to the first 2 examples. Okay, so there you go, and I hope you learned something new from this video. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And I hope to see you in the next video.